and welcome to Elite Math Studio. Today we'll be actually going through Secondary 2, most probably the first topic, which is called proportionate. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's try the first one first. The first thing we need to learn about proportionate is actually about our map scale. So I think in geography you learn about map scale as well. Okay, so the first one, let's go through. When the scale writes 1 is to 20,000, what does it actually means? It actually means that 1 cm on the ground is equal to 20,000 cm. Sorry, it's not 1 cm on the ground, it should be 1 cm on the map. Pardon me. It should be 1 cm on the map is equals to 20,000 cm on the actual ground. Okay, so 1 is to 20,000, it means 1 cm on the map is equals to 20,000 cm on the actual ground. Same thing is 1 is to 30,000. 1 is to 30,000 means 1 cm on the map is equivalent to 30,000 cm on the actual ground. Okay, so let's try to do some conversion. 1 kilometer is actually how many meters? 1,000. Okay, 1 cm is actually how many? 1 meter is actually how many cm? 100. So hence 1 kilometer is actually equals to how many cm? 100,000. Okay, can? So let's move on to the next one. Let's try an example. This one. The scale of map A is actually 1 is to 30,000. Okay, the distance of the railway on map A is actually 10.8 cm. Find me the actual distance of the railway on the map in terms of kilometers. So write the scale down first. We know that 1 cm is to 30,000 cm on the actual ground. The question says the distance of railway is actually 10.8. So we'll take 10.8 cm. Okay, 1 cm is this one. So what will be 10.8 cm? We take 30,000 times 10.8. We take 30k times 10.8. So what's 30k times 10.8? It gives you what? 324,000 cm. But then the question wants what? The question wants the actual distance in terms of kilometers. So what I need to do is actually change this to kilometers. So what I need to do is actually change to meters first. To change meter, divide by 100, so it's actually equal to 3240 meters. And then we change to km, you divide 1000, so it's just 3.24 km. Okay, that's the first answer. Next one, we write it out first. The actual distance of pathway of the ground is actually 21.6 km. Find the distance. The actual distance of certain pathway on the ground is 21.6 km. Find the actual distance of pathway in terms of cm. Okay, so what I need to do, same thing, write out the scale first. 1 cm is to 30,000 cm. Okay, my next step, I'll try to change this into km. So 1 cm is to divide by 100 first, 300 meters. Now 1 cm, I change to km now, is actually equal to 0.3 km. Divide by 1000. Okay, so now we know the scale is actually 1 cm is to 0.3 km. The question tells me is actually 21.6 km. So what I need to do is to just write 21.6 km. So what you do, how you get the answer? You just take 21.6 divide by 0.3. 21.6 0.3, the answer will be 72 cm. That's the answer. Okay. On our map B, a footpath measures 21.8 cm meters on the actual ground and 10.9 cm on the map. Find me the scale of map B. So write first 10.9 is to 21.8 km. First step, try to make both the same units. Try to make them both the same units. So we change them to 10.9 cm is to change times 100,000. 21.8 times 100,000 will give you 2,180,000 cm. So how to get to 1 cm? We divide both sides by 10.9. So the answer will be just 1:200,000. That will be the answer. Okay, can? So this will be the scale. Okay, cool. Can? So let's move on. So next question, I want to give it a try yourself. Okay, how you're going to do is actually the same thing as previously. Just look at the rules previously. Just remember that how many maps? There can be 2 maps, 3 maps, or maybe 10 maps. The actual distance and the actual area will not change. The actual distance and the actual area will not change. Okay, can? So I will expect you to try this yourself. Next one, we'll do a bit on area. So area is actually more tricky, but the way to do it is actually we have additional steps. Something like distance is just that we need to do more steps. So let's read the question. So same thing, 1:20,000, we already know. The scale is always in terms of distance, so it means 1 cm on map equals to 20,000 cm on actual ground. Okay, next one. If we know that 1 kilometer is actually how many meters? 1,000. So 1 kilometer square is actually equals to, for this one, sorry, it should be meter square. 1 kilometer square is actually equals to how many meter square? This is what you do. We go and square both sides. So the answer will be 1 million meter square. Okay, we know 1 meter is actually equals to 100 cm. So what's 1 meter square? 1 meter square is actually how many cm square? Same thing, we go and square both sides. So it actually goes to 10,000 cm. That's how you're gonna do. Okay, can? So let me try the next example for you. Let's read first. The scale of map A is actually equals to 10 cm. 1:50,000. The area of pool of map A is actually 6.8 cm square. You're supposed to find me the actual area of the pool in kilometers square. So first thing, write out the scale first. So what's the scale? The scale is actually 1 cm is to 50,000 cm. Okay, the question says the area of the pool is 6.8 cm square. Find the actual area in terms of what? Kilometer square. In terms of kilometer square. So this is what you need to do. If I were you, I change this to kilometers first. So write 1 cm is to 500 meters. Next step, you change this to what? Km. So write 1 cm is to 0.5 km. What's the next step? You need to change km square. So what you do on both sides? We go and what? Square both sides. So it becomes 1 cm square is to 0.25 kilometer square. Okay, so this is now our scale in terms of what? Area. This will be essential for us to do. So what's the next thing? The question says actually what? 6.8. So just fix 6.8 here. Cm square. For every 1 cm square is actually equals to 0.25 kilometer square. So let's say your area is actually 6.8 cm square. What's the total area? Just take 6.8 times 0.25. The answer will be 1.7 kilometer square. Okay, let's try question B. The actual area of a plot of land of the ground is 7.5 kilometers square. Find the area in terms of cm square. We just make use of this. This is actually a scale in terms of area. So we need to redo everything out again. So write down again. 1 cm square is to 0.25 kilometer square. The question said actual area is actually 7.5 kilometer square. So write 7.5 kilometer square. So how do you get the other one? We just take 7.5 divide by 0.25. Okay, 7.5 0 by 0.25 should be 30. 30 cm square. Okay, the next one. On another map B, a football field measures 25 km square on the actual ground and 16 cm square on the map. You're supposed to find the scale of map B. You're supposed to find the scale of map B. So write down the scale first. It's 25 km square on the actual ground and 16 cm square on the map. So write 16 cm square is to 25 km square. So the first step, you want to find the scale. When we talk about scale, usually it's actually referring to the scale, the distance scale. So what must we do? We must go and what? Square root both sides. Square root of 16 is actually 4 cm is to 5 km. What's the next step? Make them the same unit. Change the km into cm. So which is just 4 cm is to km to cm just times 100,000, 500k, 1000 cm. The question wants a scale, so it must be 1 is to something. So change it to 1. So it will be 125,000 cm. That's the answer. So what's the scale? The scale will be 1 is to 125. Okay, can? Okay, can? So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is something like it. So I will actually require you to pause and try to do it yourself. Any doubts, please refer to the previous example to help you. Okay, as what I told you before, actual distance, be it how many maps are there, be it 2 maps, 3 maps, 4 maps, or 5 maps, the actual distance and the actual area will not change. Okay, can? Okay, so next one we learn is actually what we call as direct proportionate. Direct proportionate. Okay, so for this section, what you need to do is actually remember the format. When I say that is actually something is actually directly proportionate to another thing, the format is actually y equals to k times x. Okay, so every time I say direct proportionate, it will be something equals to k times something. It depends. So for example, let's say the question say x is proportional to y. So write x equals to k times y. Okay? If the question say that, oh, v is directly proportionate to w square, so be v equals to w square. And I say for example, a is directly proportional to b square, so it will be just what? A equals to kb square. Okay, let's read the question first. Y is directly proportional to x. When x equals to y is directly proportional to x. When x equals to 10, y equals to 30. Find the equation connecting x and y. Okay, so this is what you do. Find the equation connecting x and y. Okay, so first step, right first, since y is directly proportional to x, y equals to k times x. When x equals to 10, y is 30, you sub this two in. You sub this two in. So this is sub as 30, this one is sub as 10. So per sub it in, so it becomes 30 equals to k bracket 10. So to find k, we divide 10 on both sides. So it's 30 over 10 equals to 3. So once you find the value of k, you need to back what? Sub it back in. So the equation, instead of writing y equals kx, the equation should be y equals to 3x. That is the answer. Sorry. So it's y equals to 3x. That should be the answer. Okay, the next one. The question asks me to find the value of y when x equals to 50. Just use back the equation. Y equals to 3x. The question says x equals to 50. So just replace the x by 50. So it's 3 bracket 50. So it becomes y equals to 150. Y equals to 150. Okay, next one. Find the value of x when y equals to 66. So use back the equation again. Y equals to 3x. Replace y by 66. So it's 66 equals to 3x. So what's x? X equals to 66 over 3 is actually equals to 22. Okay, that's the answer. So for the example, please go and do. Okay, same thing. First thing you must know is actually the format. Every time we say direct proportionate, will be something equals to k times something. Okay, pause the video and try and do the next question yourself. Next one, I do it again. Let's try. It's given that y is directly proportional to x squared, and x equals to 5 and y equals to 50. Find the equation connecting x and y. So I can write it here. So since y is directly proportional to x, we know that y equals to kx squared. Okay, when x equals to 5, y equals to 50, so write 50 equals to k, pardon me, sorry, so write 50 is actually equals to k bracket 5 square. So what's the value of 5 square? We take 50 equals to k bracket 25. So how to find k? K will be equals to 50 over 25, which is equals to what? 2. So knowing that x equals to 2, what I need to do is actually sub x equals to 2 back into your equation. So the equation should read as y equals to 2x squared. That's the answer. Okay, now next one, find the value of y when x equals to 10. Use back the equation. Y equals to 2x squared. Replace x by 10. So it's y equals to 2 10 squared. So y equals to 200. That's the answer. Next one. Find the values of x when y equals to 98. Same thing, use back the equation. Y equals to 2x squared. Okay? The question say that y equals 98, so you put as 98 here. So you need to find x squared. X squared will be equals to 98 over 2. So x squared equals to 49. How to find x? We take square root of 49. The answer, every time you do square root, please remember it's with plus minus 7. Plus minus 7. Okay? The next one. Find the value, when this value of x is being doubled, find the percentage change in y. So let's look at this. We know that when x equals to 5, y equals to 10, 50. So the question says x is being doubled. So what I can do is actually replace x by what? 10. And then it's 10 not 20. Sub x equals to 10, then after which you go and find the respective y values. You can actually go and find the respective y value. So sub x equals to 10 in the equation first. So y equals to 2 bracket 10 square. So y equals to 2 bracket 100. Y is actually equals to 200. So this component here, we know is actually 200. So what's the question asking you? The question is asking you for the percentage change in y. What's the original y value? Is actually what? 50. Now what's your y value? Is actually equals to what? 200. So what's the percentage change? We take the change. How big is the change? From 200 minus 50. That's a change over the original amount times 100. Okay? Using a calculator, the answer will be just 300%. 300%. The answer is actually just 300%. Okay, can? Quite simple, I think. So for this question, just remember that you must always what? Every time you talk about direct proportionate, or be k times something. Just like that. Okay, can? Okay, let's move on. So try it, same thing. Please go and try it yourself, then you will learn better. Next one, try it as well. Okay, this actually I'll do this. Although it's try it, but actually I'll do it with you. It's actually not. I'll just try one question. Then the next two y'all can do it yourself. Let's read first. Y is directly proportional to x squared. For a certain value of x, y is equals to 100. Find the value of y when this value of x is being doubled. Find me the value of y when this value of x. So same thing, we write it first. Because the question says it's actually direct proportionate. So we know that y equals to kx squared. Okay, for a certain value of x, y equals to 10. So we sub y equals to 10 in. Then you ask me, how about the x? The x, we just leave it. This question is supposed to be, it's actually not the same as the previous question we did, where we can actually find the value of x. Where we can actually find the value of k. For this question, it's impossible to find the value of k. Okay, so once you get this one you put aside. You use this later on. We copy the equations again. So be y equals to k x squared. The question says find the value. You're supposed to find the value of y when this value of x is being doubled. When this value of x is being doubled. So what I need to do is actually replace this x by what? 2x. You're supposed to replace this x by 2x. So you write as y equals to k bracket 2x the whole thing square. The next step, you write y equals to k bracket 4x square. Because this square here belongs to every element that's inside the bracket. So for this one, you go and rearrange. So it becomes y equals to 4 times kx square. What's the value of kx square? We know the value of kx square is actually equals to what? 10. So what you need to do is actually replace this kx square by 10. So the answer will be y, pardon me, y equals to 4 bracket 10 is actually equals to 40. That's the answer. Okay, the next two examples is exactly the same, but what you need to do is actually you need to take note. Tell me what the difference between increase to 300% and increase by 300%. You increase to 300% means what? X will becomes 100%. You increase by 300% becomes 400%. In other words, x will becomes 4 times of x. For this one, 100% will increase to 300%. So x will becomes 3x for the second and third example. That's what I need to take note. How you're going to do this is exactly the same. Okay, please take note of this. Go attempt B and C yourself. Okay, let's move on. So just now we did direct proportionate. So we know that in direct proportionate will be something equals to k times something. For indirect proportionate, remember the format will be something equals to k over something. Okay, for example, y is directly proportional to x. So we just write y is equals to k over x. Okay, if I say that a is that indirectly proportional to b, a equals to k over b. Okay, if I say that maybe a is indirectly proportional to c square, so just a over k c square, just like that. Pretty straightforward. So y is inversely proportional to x, so write y equals to k over x, just like that. Okay, let's try the question. The question say that y is actually indirectly proportional to x, is actually equals to indirectly proportional to x. When x equals to 5, y is actually equals to 10. Find the equation connecting x and y. So same thing, write out the format first. Y equals to k over x. Why is it k over x? Because the question says indirectly proportionate. So next step, same thing, sub in a pair of x and y values. So in this case, replace y by what? 10 and x by 5. You must do that. Why must I actually go and do that? Because the question states that x equals to 5 and y equals to 10 right here. Okay, the question states, so just put it in. Okay, so what you do, find the value of k. 10 is actually 10 over what? 10 will be 10 over 1. You do a cross multiply. So k is actually equals to 50. Sub k equals to 15 back in. The equation will be y equals to 50 over x. That's the answer. Next one. Find me the value of y when x equals to 25. So copy the equation first. Y equals to 50 over x. Replace x by 25. So y equals to 50 over 25. So y is actually equals to 2. That's the answer. The next one. Find me the value of x when y equals to 100. So write y equals to 50 over x. Replace y by 100. So it's 100 equals to 50 over x. 100 is actually 100 over 1. So what I need to do is actually do a cross multiplication. So it becomes 100 x equals to 50. So what's x? X equals to 50 over 100 equals to half. Okay, that's the answer. Next question, you try it yourself. Same thing, try it. Go and go and pause the video and go and try it yourself. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. A more complex one. I shall do this. Okay, a more complex one. Sorry. Should draw one. Okay. Okay, this one. Given that y is actually indirectly proportional to x squared, when x equals 2, y equals to 5, find me the equation connecting x and y. So since the question says it's actually indirectly proportionate, so write y equals to k over x squared. The question says when x equals to 5, y equals to x equals 2, so substitute in k over 2 square. So it's 5 equals to k over 4 over 1, cross multiply, so k equals to 20. Cross multiply, I hope you know what's mean by cross multiply. You take 4 times 5, this times this. Okay, so once you find the value of k, you need to substitute back into the equation. So the equation should read as y equals to 20 over x squared. Okay, next one. Find the value of y when x equals to 5. Now supposed to find the value of y when x equals to 5. So substitute in. So it becomes y equals to 20 over x squared. Sub x equals to 5 in. So y equals to 20 over 5 squared. So answer is 20 over 25. Lowest term 4 over 5. That's the answer. 4 over 5. Next one. Find the values of x when y equals to 45. Same thing, substitute in. Y equals to 20 over x squared. Okay, sub y equals 45 in, so it's 45 equals to 20 over x squared. Cross multiply, so it's 45 x squared equals to 20. X squared is actually equals to 20 over 45. Okay, then what you do is actually reduce the lowest term. Will be divided by 5 with 4 over 9. So x equals to square root of 4 over 9. 4 over 9 is actually what? Plus minus 2/3. That's the answer. Plus minus 2/3. Okay, can? The next one, I need to erase some to make space. Next one, when x is being doubled, the question say that when x is being doubled, y the percentage in y. So same thing. We know that when x equals to 2, y equals to 5, x is being doubled, so my x becomes what? 4 now. X will becomes actually 4 now. So what you need to do, replace x equals to 4 into your equation. So it should read as y equals to 20 over 4 square. So y is actually equals to, calculator, I think it's 1.25. So when x equals to 4, we know y is actually equals to 1.25. The question wants a percentage change. So from y equals to 5 to y equals 1.25, what's the decrement? What's the change? We take 5 minus 1.25 over the original amount times 100. Okay, so it's true. So answer is 75%. That's the answer. Okay, can? So next few questions, same thing. I want you to actually go and try it yourself. Very similar. Just get the format right. I think everything should be quite okay. So same thing, pause the video, go and try it out. Same thing about this, go and try it. This one as well. This one. Okay. For this one actually I need to actually work things out for you. I'm going to just try a little bit for you. Then same thing, B and C, you're going to do it. This is actually slightly harder, that's why I say, because for this kind of question you will never find the value of k. So you need to get used to this. Finding the value of k on those kind of equations are, I think, quite straightforward. You just have to manipulate the values, but for this one you have to be very careful, because for this kind of question you will never find the value of k. So let's try first. The question says y is directly proportional to x squared. For a certain value of x, y equals to 10. Find the value of y when this value of x is being what? Is being doubled. So write the equation first. Write down the equation that y equals to k over x cubed, because it's indirectly proportional. For a certain value of x, y is actually equals to 10. So sub y equals to 10 in, so y equals to k over x cubed. Okay? So this one, you just put it aside. Continue with the equation. Y equals to k over x cubed. The question say the find the value of y when x is being doubled. So go and replace a y by what? Sorry, x by 2x. You must put the brackets. That's very important. What's the next step? This cube belongs to who? You must understand that this cube belongs to both the what? 2 and the x. So write as y equals to k over 8x cubed. Y is actually equals to 8x cubed. Next step, we can actually separate out. This is as good as 1 over 8 times k over x cubed. So now look at this. What's k over x cubed? Look at what you highlight there. What's k over x cubed? It's actually equals to what? 10 here. So replace k over x cubed, so y is actually equals to 1 over 8 times 10. Okay, so y is actually equals to 1.25. That's the solution. Okay, so find the value of x when this value. So same thing, I need to tell you what's the difference between x is increased 200% and increased by 300%. Increase 2 means 100% becomes 300%. It represents 100% to 300%. So means x becomes 3x. This one increased by 300%, 100% becomes 400%. Because the increment is actually more than 300%. So x becomes 4 times of x. Okay, can? That's how you're going to solve. That's the clue I'm going to give you. This and this one. Okay, I'm going to try it ourselves. For part B and C. Okay, can? Next one, next type of question for proportionate is actually something we have like workers and days. Workers and days. Okay, so let's try this one first. Let's read this one. 8 workers can build a car in 10 days. How many workers were required to complete building the whole car in 8 days? So this is what you do. For this question, we can let workers be W, and then days be D. So let me ask you, is W directly proportional to D, or W is indirectly proportional to D? You ask yourself, when the workers increase, will number of days increase or decrease? The number of days will actually decrease. If one increases and one decreases, what does it mean? It means they are in indirect proportionate. When both variables increase or when both variables decrease, then we can say it's actually direct proportionate. So for this one, you write as W equals to K over D. The next step, sub 8 as a W and sub D as a 10 in. Same thing, 8 over 1, cross multiply, we know that K will be equals to 80. Sub it back in. W equals to 80 over D. How long required to how many workers are required to complete 8 days? So replace D by 8 lor. So it's just 80 over 8. W equals to 10. That's the final answer. Okay, next try. Next one. 8 workers can build a car in 10 days. How many workers complete the building 8 days? Okay, so same thing. You do it yourself. Oh, okay. So, sorry. This is actually the same thing. This one is actually the same thing itself. Pardon me. So this is actually the same thing. So what I need to do is actually, let me see. Okay, you skip out this. Skip this question. Skip this question. Skip this whole question. And do this instead. Try it yourself. Okay? Can try this yourself. Sorry, pardon me. Pardon me. Wait, I'll make some amendments now. Sorry. For this one, I changed the question a bit. You change the 8 as 10. Okay, you'll be 50. So how long to build in, say it's 5 days. Okay, do that for me. So it'll be 10 workers, 5 days, complete in 5 days. Okay, try it for me. Try it for me. Okay, next one, I'll demonstrate this one. Ten workers can build 4 cars in 12 days. So how many workers were required to complete the whole building in 6 days? Same thing, we let the workers be W, cars be C, and this be D. So let's talk about workers and cars first. Workers and cars. Is workers and cars direct proportional or indirect proportional? When workers increase, the number of car production will also increase. So indirect proportional. So we write Y equals to K times C. How about workers? When workers increase, how about the days? The days will actually decrease. So are they indirect or direct or indirect proportion? Indirect. So it's actually like that. Next step, you sub all the values in. Worker is 10, so write 10 equals to K. What are the cars? The cars is actually what? 4. Days is actually 12. Over 1, we do cross multiply. We will know that 4K is actually equals to 120. So what's K? K equals 120 over 4. K equals to 30. Okay? Sub this one back into your equation. So your equation will read as W equals to 30 C over D. The question asks you to, how many workers required to build in 6 cars in 9 days? So replace C by 9, C by 6, and D by 9. So W equals to 30 bracket 6 over 9. Okay, calculated answer will just be 20 days. Simple. Okay, can the next question please try it yourself. The next one please try it yourself. This one. Okay, the format, the best way, I think the easiest way is actually, there's a few different ways, but I think it's actually the best way is actually this one. Use this guy to help you. And in doubt, same thing, refer to the previous question. Okay, can? Yep. So let's come to the last question for today. Let's try this. 15 workers can build 10 cars in 5 days. At the end of the second day, 5 workers decide to quit. So how many hours do we actually require to complete building all the 5 cars with the remaining workers? This is what you need to do. Okay, so 15 workers, 10 car, 5 days. So same thing, workers will be W, cars will be C, days will be this. Okay, so you ask yourself for this question, when workers increase, will the number of cars increase? Yes. So write W equals to K C. Sorry, pardon me. W equals to KC. That's how when workers increase, will the days increase or decrease? It will decrease. More workers, the job will be done faster. So write W equals to KC over D. Next one. At the end of the second day, 5 workers decide to quit. Means for the first 2 days, we still have the full 10 workers. What? Correct? So we go and find how. So what's the next step? We go and find the value of K first. Pardon me. So write 15 equals to K bracket 10 over 5. Okay, do a cross multiplication. So it's 75 equals to 10K. K is actually equals to 75 over 10 equals to 7.5. Sub it back in again. So the equation should read as W equals to 7.5 C over D. Next one. The question say the end of second day, 5 workers decided to quit. Means for the first full days, we have what? The full 15 workers. So we go and find how many cars were being completed. So it's 15 equals to 7.5 C over D. No, sorry, D we know is actually 2. Cross multiply becomes 30 equals to 7.5 C. C equals to 4. So means in the first 4 days, in the first 2 days, 4 cars were being completed. So how many cars were left uncompleted? We have 6 cars which is left uncompleted. And because 5 workers decide to quit, how many workers are we left with? We're only left with 10 workers. Because we have 15 workers to start with. Okay? So how many more days were required to build all the remaining 5 cars? Not 5 cars, all the 10 cars. It should be 10 cars, pardon me. Okay? It should be 10 cars right here. It should be 10 cars. Okay? Go amend and write 10 here. So, how are you going to do? Sub back into the equation. We know the equation is actually equals to W equals to 7.5 C over D. Correct? Sub C equals 6 in and 10 in. So 10 equals to 7.5 bracket 6 over D. Cross multiply 10D is actually equals to 7 is actually equals to 45. D is actually equals to 4.5 days. So how many more days? Total number of days is actually equals to what? 4.5 plus existing 2 days. So it will be 4.5 plus 2, which is equals to 6.5. Total number of days required is actually 5. So it's just 6.5 minus 5. 1.5 more days. That's the answer. Okay? Not a typical one, but it's quite challenging as well. Okay? Can guys? So next one, pause it and try to do it yourself. The way to do it is actually the same thing as just what I taught you. So you can play back the video and see what's my approach. Okay, with this I already conclude the lesson for this one. So I've given you some assignments, same thing, go and work it out. Everything. So once you complete all the try it, go and try all this. If you can do everything here, I don't think there will be any problem on the proportionate. Okay, can? Thank you for your time.